Welcome back to Real Estate Greco-Roman Style with Sam Giuliano,
and John Tokitlidis,
both with Royal LePage Lee Realty. Folks, it's been a great month. We've been off for a little bit just because I've been trying to recoup my voice because it's been a pretty amazing month. That's all I'm going to say. To all our Italian fans out there, Forza Azzurri, Euro champions. To all my Greek friends, we'll see you in the next final. Right, Johnny?
Yes. It takes me back to 2004, last time I had something to celebrate in the soccer world.
I love all my Greek friends. You're always holding on to that past glory. Good stuff for you, Johnny. But like I said, we'll meet you in the next finals. We'll look to the future. How's that sound?
Yes.
Awesome.
That sounds like a good plan.
Fantastic. So, guys, thank you once again for joining us. Today, we're going to recap the real estate market in the GTA. It's kind of a weird market right now, off from the crazy highs of earlier this winter, but still a pretty decent market. I think John will break those numbers down for us. So, John, you want to take it from there, buddy?
Certainly. Thank you, Sam. The Toronto Regional Real Estate Board released the statistics for the GTA earlier this month for the month of June. And what was notable in that report was that while the market has increased substantially, both in average prices and in volume compared to the same month last year, there is a drop once again from the month of May to June in both average price by 1.7%. So we saw an average price drop of 1.7%. And then we also saw a drop in the volume from the previous month. Now, that's the third month in a row that we've seen volumes drop. So from the peak in March to April, April to May, and May to June. So it's clear that things are slowing down. But what I think is important is that with this report, it describes the changes in the real estate market across all home types and in all communities. So when you look more closely at the different home types and the different communities, you do see different things happening, and you can see why this is important. I mean, when we saw the response in the real estate market with COVID, we saw the demand for detached homes, especially outside the city, increase substantially, where we saw, downtown core condo apartments. There was an exodus from that particular market. But, the report is describing in general which direction the market is going. And when we look more closely again for the month of June, we do see different things happening.
Right. And so, Johnny, when we say that, we're talking again about different communities having different effects with the way the market's moving. I know we wanted to talk about why the change, right? Like what is precipitating all this change in the market? And I know you have some theories. I have some theories. We were definitely seeing a decrease in the number of buyers out there. You're not seeing those crazy. John, in the wintertime, me and you are going to multiple offers on some properties out on the outskirts of the city, and you're talking 20, 22, 25, 29 offers, like just incredible. You're not necessarily seeing, and that was pretty well with most properties. You're not necessarily seeing that today. You're still seeing, like I had one yesterday in Barrie where there was 14 offers, I believe, by the end. Again, but a fantastic product that was really priced well. So, but in anything that's not a perfect product, for lack of a better word, that's priced exceptionally well, you're not getting those 15, 16, 17 offers. You're getting maybe one or two and sometimes none. So the market's definitely changed in that way. Like I said, one of my theories is I think we've just exhausted buyers. I think that's one of the reasons I think our demand has kind of dropped a bit. It's not like buying shoes. I say that all the time. You can buy multiple pairs of shoes, and trust me, talk to my wife, she buys more than multiple pairs of shoes. But you normally buy one house, and once those people have bought, they're now out of the market. And with the lack of immigration because of COVID, I think that in itself has impacted the number of buyers out there. Johnny?
Certainly, I agree with everything you're saying, Sam. I think on both ends, you even see sellers that are sensing this fatigue and seeing that the average price and activity has sort of stagnated a little bit. And so a number of sellers are thinking, oh, I'm going to hold back and wait and, for the market to really get strong again so I can maximize the price I'm going to get on my home. So you have both sellers and you have buyers both kind of sitting and waiting. A number of buyers also with the stress test changes that happened on June 1st. no longer qualifying for the same amount of money, and so they're temporarily out of the market. But as you said, with immigration, we might see an increase in demand. What's interesting about the report, though, was I had mentioned that there was an average price drop of 1.7%. But when you look at these three downtown condo markets that are a part of this, C1, which is that Liberty Village, University, waterfront area, C8, which is like Church Young, Yorkville, and W6, which is that Park Lawn region. We saw a price drops of 6%, 5%, and 4%, respectively. And that weighed very heavily on the average price drop overall, bringing the average price down that 1.7%. Because in some markets like W8 here, close by where I am, we saw prices increase by 7% for a detached home. So there's different things happening, and depending on where you go, you're going to get that same buyer demand and really solid activity, like you mentioned in Barrie, in certain areas. But in other areas, you see people pulling back, and you start seeing prices drop. W9, which is right up against W8, average prices dropped 11% for these detached homes. So half of the city saw average prices rise, and half of the city saw average prices decrease. And it really requires taking a closer look at communities to understand what's happening and where it's happening, and where you might want to think about taking advantage and putting your investment dollars.
Right. And Johnny, I think that's a good point. And again, I think it also lends credence to the trends that's been happening since COVID started, where people are looking for single family residential homes. And so when you start talking about the C1, the C8s, the I think it was nines, oh, sorry, the W6s,
Six.
um, eh, big condo markets, which are dragging down the market right now. We'll talk about maybe there's some opportunities there. But the other thing I'd like to say is that because there is that trend towards people wanting to get that single family residential home, and there's a lot of money in the economy right now. There's been a lot of priming the pump, as we like to say, by the federal government, and not only Canada, but in the US, which I think has caused some inflation concerns, including in housing. So when there is that great property and people want to live somewhere, people have a little more money right now and they're spending for it. And that's where I think you're kind of seeing that, yeah, the overall number might be down 1% or 1.6%, whatever that number was. But again, that takes into account condos. And when you're looking at single family residential, I think those numbers are still pretty strong overall.
They are actually. The average price was relatively flat. I think it was like a 0.5% average price drop compared to the previous month, which is it's virtually unchanged. And so you can see where those condos really weighed down on the average price drops. Um, if you're someone who believes that people are going to eventually find their way back to the downtown market, the office spaces are going to open up. People aren't going to be able to afford to get into the detached home market. Are going to have no choice but to get into the condo market if they want to have a place to live. Then you should consider putting your dollars into that market, because you're going to see long-term growth. There's still opportunity there as far as prices go. Where we saw detached home prices rise 20% year over year, we saw prices drop about 5% in the condo market. So there's a spread there of about 25 to 30% that it might be the right opportunity to take advantage of that.
Johnny, I couldn't agree with you more with that assessment. I am big time on the condo market, especially in those areas we're talking about, the C1s and the C8s. You're downtown Toronto, prime real estate. It's in my opinion, it should pick up again without any issues. So Johnny, any parting thoughts, basically on of anything I just said or anything in general?
Uh, Jays are coming back July 30th. This is a very exciting time for the city. It's going to bring a lot of people back to the downtown core. It's going to help revitalize all the businesses there. It's going to start to attract more people. And that's just one piece of the puzzle. It's just the beginning. So I'm very excited to see downtown return to its old glory, its former glory. And so I again think that the real estate market there is going to rebound significantly.
Yeah, Johnny, you know what? That's a great point, bringing up the entertainment coming back to the downtown core, the sports, the shows, all that great stuff, the restaurants. I couldn't agree with you more. I think there's some great opportunities in today's Toronto real estate market. And on that note, we'd like to say we'd like to bid everyone a fond adieu until next time. I threw in a little French there, just to add a little bit of European flavor to go back to our original point that Italy's European champions. And just want to say Forza Azzurri again. So for Sam Giuliano,
And John Tuget, ladies.
thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again. Forza Azzurri.